You're listening to the Stephen A. Smith Show podcast.
My honor and privilege to have my next guest on the line as promised. He is the head coach for the New York Jets, who are smiling ear to ear right now and has a city, Gotham City, doing the same thing with the drafting of Sam Darnold out of USC. Coach Todd Bowles for the New York Jets is on with yours truly right now. What's going on, Coach? How are you, sir?
I'm good. Stephen, how you doing, sir?
I'm doing great, man. It's great to talk to you, especially on days like this. Put into perspective, put into words how good you're feeling right now.
Great. That's about the best I can put it. You know, we were fortunate to have him fall to us, and we think we got a heck of a football player.
What's so special about this kid, Todd Bowles?
I think it's competitive drive, number one. He's going to be his own person. I think he's great for the New York market because he will fight every tooth and nail. He wants to do the exact right things to win the ball game. How it looks doesn't matter. I think he has a old soul to be a 20-year-old. I think he puts in the work, and he'll be in the building every day to learn and get it right, and it's not going to faze him. Success does not scare him, and that's very good thing to have in this market.
There's an obvious answer to this question because you have him now, but I'm going to ask it anyway. Was he always the number one quarterback on y'all list? You had everybody saying after 2016, this is the guy that the Jets needed to target. The Jets needed to stink up the joint the next season so we can ensure that we would get our hands on Sam Darnold. And lo and behold, you ended up getting him anyway, despite winning 5 games last season. Talk to and having the number 3 overall pick. Is this the guy that you guys have had your eyes on for the last couple of years or so?
Well, having the 3rd pick, you know you don't control your own destiny, so you got to have contingency plans in case somebody trades up or the first 2 quarterbacks are gone and you got to pick the other 2. So the list of where we had him, I probably won't divulge, but he was pretty high on our list.
Todd Bowles, head coach for the New York Jets, right here with Stephen A. on ESPN Radio. When you look at him, Coach, a lot of people were saying this about Sam Darnold. His poise is very surprising, but pleasantly. He's obviously has the arm strength. He can make any throw out there. Physically, he's built to be in the NFL, but he was a turnover machine last year. That's what they said about him. How concerned were you guys about him before you interviewed him and got to know him? How concerned were you about those turnovers that he committed at USC last season?
Well, we did our homework, and one thing we know, there's no excuse for turnovers. You make them regardless, and you can make an excuse and say they can be cured, but after talking to him and getting to know the guy and him pressing too much at times or trying to make a play and do certain things, as part of his growth process. I think you have quite a few interceptions going into the league. I think when Deshaun Watson came out, he had quite a few interceptions in his career, but I think it makes you mentally tougher and you learn more lessons from when you make those type of mistakes, and I think he'll grow from it. I think he has the ability to grow from it. He has the mindset to work on it and get better, and those are some of the things we're going to work on with him to get him better.
Considering how happy you guys are to have him and how highly you thought of him, how surprised were you that he was available at number 3 last night?
We didn't know. You know, we started the mock drafts for 2 years or a year or so, had him number 1, going number 1. You didn't know. Then you started hearing all the rumors around draft day, so we were prepared for everything. But once Baker went number 1 and the Giants made their pick, we were pretty pleased and pleasantly surprised, and we were just happy to have him.
Todd Bowles, head coach for the New York Jets, right here with Stephen A. on ESPN Radio. Now that these guys are gone, Baker Mayfield goes 1, Darnold goes number 3, Allen goes number 7, Rosen goes number 10. Where did you guys, could you tell me where you guys had the top 4 quarterbacks in the draft ranked?
We had them all ranked pretty evenly. Obviously, you can make a case for or against any one of them. Everybody has things to work on, but sometimes you got to go with the mindset of how people would fit not only on your team but in the city and within the organization and how you want to carry your team and have them go about things. And we thought that Sam fit us perfectly to a T, taking nothing away from the other guys because they probably would have fit well as well. But Sam, of all, had the personality that we thought embodied our city that we want to see.
What kind of personality does the quarterback in New York City need to have?
Well, you better be tough mentally, number one. You better be tough mentally, and Sam is very tough mentally, and you can't have your feelings on your shoulder at the same time. you want to do everything and anything you can to win and make the team and the city proud, and I think Sam has that.
We're talking to Todd Bowles right here with Stephen A. on ESPN Radio. As we look and dissect the New York Jets for the 2018 season that's about to unfold, talk to me about how you're feeling about this team overall, particularly now that you know you have your quarterback of the future. What's it like right now?
I mean, we're gathering pieces, and it's great to have Sam, and we're not finished yet. We have more pieces to get, but I think overall it's a great quarterback room with Josh and Teddy. He got some experience, and we still have 2 young quarterbacks on the roster as well, but I think our team is shaping up pretty good as we keep adding pieces to turn this thing around. Sam's a great addition to that.
Todd Bowles, I look at this team right now, particularly on the offensive side of the ball, and I must admit I've got some concerns because I'm looking at it from the perspective that last year you guys ranked 24th overall, 28th in yards accumulated, 24th in the pass game, 19th in your rushing game, and you got a guy in McCown, who obviously has been around for a long time. He's 38 years of age. You're expecting him to sort of set the stage rather for Sam Darnold. But Teddy Bridgewater is here too, looking to have a future at the quarterback position. What are your expectations for those 2 guys, knowing that Sam Darnold is waiting in the wings to take the helm?
Well, the one thing about those guys is that they're great teachers, and they will teach Sam how to play, but at the same time, they're all competing for a job, and you got some heavy competition in that room, and it's a healthy competition, what you want and what you like, instead of just having a guy and just not having anybody behind them. You have a couple guys that's going to push each other to do better, and the experience of Teddy and Josh can only help Sam going forward, and Sam's a fast learner. He understands and he takes everything in, but the competition is great, and I think it's healthy for the team. As
I look at this team right now, and you know, healthy competition, you say it's healthy competition. Does that mean it's going to be an open competition for the job from day one, or is this going to be a situation where Teddy and Josh McCown will hold it down the fort for a few games until you believe that Sam Darnold is ready to take the helm? How does this work?
Well, I said before, Josh has gone in spring practice as the number 1 quarterback, and once you get to training camp and the competition starts, you know, anything goes. It sees how Teddy performs. It sees how Sam performs. It's how Josh performs. It's everything. That doesn't mean you're going to start day 1 when the season starts, but you're going to camp. And you know you start in first team, but there is open competition, and I'm not going to rush Sam, but at the same time, we're not going to pull back the reins on him either. We're going to see how he learns and how he goes forward, along with the other 2 young guys, and when it gets close to the last preseason game, we'll have a decision and we'll make it.
Todd Bowles, head coach for the New York Jets, right here with Stephen A. on ESPN Radio. Will Teddy Bridgewater be with the team come training camp?
Yeah, Teddy will be here.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure because I'm still wondering about that knee. That was a nasty knee injury, so I just wanted to make sure y'all expected him to be ready for training camp. You know, what positions are you prioritizing these next 2 days for the NFL draft?
It's going to be tough because we don't pick until the 3rd round. You know, the 2nd round can go by, but we need help. We need some help. We can use another runner, another wide receiver, and some defensive line help if we can find some things like that in the draft that fall to us. But at the same time, it's always best position available, and if we have those things to make decisions for, we'll make them.
Todd Bowles, when you reflect back on last year, put into perspective how tough the year was for you guys and why specifically did you believe it was so tough last year?
Well, number 1, it's tough because you lose. You don't ever want to lose. Make no mistake about it. I don't care what the situation is. We're trying to win games here. Whether you're building, rebuilding, reloading, call it however you want to call it, I'm trying to win ball games. So that's number 1. It's not even about the situation. And we have guys that came together that were young, but you can win at a young age. It's okay. You don't have to go a year or 2 before you become successful. And we had to learn how to win, and we had to learn how to play together all over again. And I think we did that. And after the season, you know, you look back and guys are pissed off because we let some games get away in the 4th quarter that we can be better at, hopefully, going forward. And we got to hone in on the little things and have a focus that we cannot be defeated. And that's how we got to play and just stop respecting everybody to the degree to where we blow some games in the fourth quarter and start taking the game instead of thinking they're going to come to us. And I think we understand that.
But what do you mean respecting guys, like respecting the opponents too much? I know you didn't use the word fear, and I'm certainly not trying to imply that.
It's not even respecting the opponent. It's just going into the game. There's a difference going into the game when you just know each other very well as a team, when you know you're going to win, as opposed to not sure about each other. And we had a lot of moving parts last year, so these guys were getting used to each other all year. But at the same time, you know, we as a team, it's my job to galvanize them and put them around each other more and them to come together as a group that we felt. I thought last year was tough, wins and losses wise, but it was one of the most closest teams we've had since I've been here. And obviously you start over every year, but we're hoping that'll help us out a lot this year.
Your first year in 2015, you guys were 10-6. You clearly showed that you know what you're doing, but the last 2 years have been 5-11, and you talked about what your job is and what you have to do. You know, when people talk about you in this day and age, they talk about these 5-11 seasons, and people have wondered what level of pressure, if any at all, do you feel to produce immediately because of, you know, what people may say in terms of the team moving in a different direction or whatever the case may be. What would Coach Todd Bowles have to say about that?
Well, I don't feel any more pressure than I put on myself. It's a pressure job when you get into it. You know that walking in the door. I don't make any excuses about losing the ball game. I'm the head coach, and I want to win as much as the next person. I want to win for these guys. I want to win for the city. I want to win for our owner and everybody else. So that's pressure within itself. But at the same time, I have a job to do, and everybody else here has a job to do. And I'm confident in my ability, and I'm confident we can get this thing turned around and win ball games.
In this day and age, with a guy like Sam Darnold, do you draft a quarterback because the upside is greater than all the other prospects, or do you draft a quarterback because they're the most ready-made quarterback for the NFL level now? What's the thinking in terms of picking a quarterback this high?
I think it's different for every team. I think you have to pick the quarterback with the availability for the upside. If they're ready right now, that's great. If they're not ready right now, you have to see potential and ability in them to be ready at a certain point in time that you know they can grow from. Depending on what you have in your stable, you may need one ready to go right now in certain situations, or you may draft one and say, well, he will be ready to go, and you take all your draft analysis and come to your conclusion that he's going to be a pretty good quarterback, and you make the picks that way, but it's different for every team.
Last question to you, Coach Todd Bowles, right here with Stephen A. on ESPN Radio. What did Sam Darnold tell you about himself that you liked most, particularly as we get set for the 2018 season? As a quarterback for this franchise, what did he say to you that resonated with you most about himself?
The big thing he expresses to me that he's very confident in himself. He's going to meet New York City head on. He's going to do whatever it takes to win and work his tail off.
Plain and simple. Todd Bowles, congratulations. It looks like the New York Jets finally have a quarterback. As far as I'm concerned, I mean, you have guys that have performed sporadically throughout the years, but this franchise hasn't had a bona fide, consistent quarterback since the days of Richard Todd, for crying out loud. That's how good I'm feeling about this pick. I'm happy for you, Coach. I'm happy.
Thanks, Steve.
Take it easy, buddy.
That's just a sample of what you'll hear on the Stephen A. Smith Show. Weekdays at 1 p.m. Eastern on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app.